Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Stefanie Drysdale's weekly cybersecurity recap number 44 for Friday, November 6th, 2020. Post election, November 6th, 2020. Stefanie, welcome back.
Thank you, Chuck. How are you?
Well, that's a loaded question. So we'll just skip that part because it's just been an unprecedented time in history. And we're still waiting. We're still waiting to see. Nobody's quite sure what's going to happen. It's quite interesting. But I'm sure the cyber world is equally as interesting. So what's happening?
It is. It's like Groundhog Day, the election edition, like every single day.
Yeah, it's true. It is true. And all these memes are out there with all these crazy conspiracies and all these things are going to happen the next day that don't happen. I've never seen anything like it. It's really unbelievable.
Yeah, it's fairly bizarre, but we'll just jump right in. The news is pretty much dominated with election stuff this week, so we'll keep the rest of it light. So Business to Community shared an article this week called Building a Human Firewall. It talked a lot about different evolving threats and how people are such an important part of protecting against those specific threats. Talking a lot about insider threat, both accidental and malicious insider threat. 62% of insider threat is unintentional. So that's a really important thing to remember, that 62% of insider threats can actually be prevented with a little educational awareness training for everybody. So really important there. Make sure that you set policies. There are 4 governance policies that really will help build a solid foundation that you can kind of grow with. One of them would be passwords, acceptable use, information handling, and then a written information security policy. All really, really important to provide that foundational support for your cybersecurity. Make sure to employ your technical countermeasures for things such as two-factor authentication and password managers. I know people are hesitant to use these, but once you get used to it, it's no big deal at all. I promise it's pretty painless. But yeah, the human firewall reminds us that cybersecurity is not just IT's job, it's all of our jobs. So catch that article if you can. So Charles Erding shared an NPR article, talked about how the election was attacked, but not necessarily interfered with or disrupted. Really, really good news with the 2016 campaign having so much election interference. A lot of people were very, very concerned, and I think a lot of people still are very concerned about the security and the accuracy of our democracy right now with the voting. We're not necessarily out of the woods yet, but one thing we did learn is to, put in place a paper backup in case the electronic polls tend to go down. That's been a really positive, helpful step. But in this particular election, so far, what they're seeing is the majority of issues have come in the form of disinformation. So make sure that you're reading and sharing accurate, unbiased sources. There's so much stuff going around that people are taking for face value. Make sure that you don't. Exercise a degree of caution and verify before you share if you could. Gabriel Friedlander shared this week a scam that someone had tried to lure him into on LinkedIn, of all places, about a job. There are these messages going around offering to give you opportunities to earn extra income and just kind of giving you various scenarios. It could be coming from an account for a security contact of yours, asking if you want to do some kind of personal shopping to earn some extra income. So really be cautious receiving anything like that. Don't interact with it. Don't click it. A lot of them have Proton mail addresses to try to get you to correspond with them. Please just delete or report and go about your business. Do not interact with those. So this week, Bob Carver shared a Tom's Guide article talking about Apple issuing an emergency security update for iOS 14.2. This also applied to version iOS 12 with version 12.4.9. It has 3 zero-day exploits that it's susceptible to, and they could be used in tandem to stage a staged attack. So make sure that your iOS in particular, or your Android, if you have an Android, always keep those updated as well. This is not exclusive to Apple, but these particular updates, make sure your Apple iPhone and other devices are updated regularly, patched, that you restart, and that you stay on top of those. These are kind of big bads, so you definitely don't want to fall into one of them. So William Gregorian shared some really good news this week that the U.S. seized over $1 billion in Bitcoin tied to the underground online marketplace Silk Road. This was the largest cryptocurrency seizure in U.S. history. So very, very cool news here. And good to see that the government is tracking on these things and that they're staying on top of these thieves that think they're operating in a very safe world in the dark web, but they're definitely not. So good news there. And that's what I have for you this week. I hope you all are staying sane with all of the election craziness and the new lockdowns everywhere. Keep smiling, and I will look forward to seeing you all next week.